So you know that you need a trust or a will. And you've heard perhaps from other people, or you've seen advertisements for programs online that can generate your own trust, maybe through LegalZoom or Nolo Press. There's a lot of different ones out there. You think, this is a good way to save money so I don't have to go to an attorney. But is it? Wait just a second, because I've had to do a lot of fixing on the back end for trusts that just don't work for people. So today I'm going to be talking about the hidden danger of using do-it-yourself wills and trusts programs. Hi, this is Ellen Cookman. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we're going to talk about how to help special needs families set up estate plans. Estate planning for special needs families is complex, and our goal is to make it as easy for you as possible. If this information is helpful to you, please subscribe and also hit the notification button so you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. My law firm has helped hundreds of families navigate the complex waters of setting up estate plans. So I'm excited to share all of my knowledge and experience with you. So it's well known that estate planning is essential for just about everybody. But you might think, I have a pretty simple situation. Maybe I'm married, I have a kid or two, I own a house, but there's not a lot of complexity there. I'll just set up something online. Well, what's the problem with that? First, I'd like to say that a lot of my clients, in fact, I'd say over 50% of them, when they come in, they tell me, Ellen, I have a pretty simple situation. And then I start asking questions. And then the more that comes out, people realize, hold on, this situation isn't very simple at all. When you're dealing with real property, if you own a property, there's a lot of ways that California property taxes can be messed up, or capital gains taxes can be messed up. So it's really dangerous to try to do it yourself when you're dealing with those taxes. Also, if you have minor children, you really want to talk with an attorney about who's the best choice for guardian. There could be, you may say, oh, my family really wants to act as guardian, but perhaps they're not the best choice. Also, who are you going to choose as successor trustee? All of these choices need to be hashed out. I also have clients who come in and they have elderly parents. They're like, I'd like to provide some money for my elderly parent who's in a nursing home. It's like, well, that could interfere with their Medi-Cal benefits. Have you thought about that? So there's a lot of intricacies, a lot of little twists and turns, or they own property in another state. So I'd say for the 13 years that I've been practicing estate planning, I have seen a truly simple situation. I can count it on one hand, less than 5, all right? So you may be thinking, I have a really simple situation. That may not be true. It's worth talking to an attorney to find out what you might be missing. So one of the main problems of do-it-yourself forms is that you really don't know if they're going to work or not until after you're gone. And at that point, you can't fix it yourself. You've left it for your kids to figure out how to do it. And I have been involved in a lot of cleanups of people who think they did it right, but it turns out they haven't. Perhaps they haven't funded their trust properly. That's something that you should talk with your estate planning attorney about. How do we make sure that stuff gets into the trust? If it doesn't get into the trust, it doesn't flow out of the trust properly, and there's more court petitions that you have to bring, or perhaps that asset has to go through probate. There's a lot of things that could go wrong, and you just don't know where it's going to go wrong. So you want to talk with an experienced estate planning attorney who also does trust administrations so that they can look ahead and say, have you thought about this conflict that might happen in the future? Have you thought about how your kids might get along or might not? They might get along in front of you, but when you're gone, I've seen a lot of families fall apart. And if things are not completely clear and spelled out, this happens more and more frequently. So as I've mentioned, there's a lot of different taxes involved in estate planning. I think this is one of the main reasons why you should not do a do-it-yourself form. There's estate taxes, there's gift taxes, there's capital gains taxes, there's California property taxes, there's generation skipping transfer taxes. Now, all of those taxes may not apply to you, but more of them may apply to you than you realize. And when do those taxes apply and how might they apply? We walk our clients through all of those taxes and how they can be impacted and answer all of the questions so our clients can sleep at night. I think one of the big problems about do-it-yourself plans is that you really don't know if it's going to work, and that might keep you up at night. And let me tell you, especially as I get older, I realize that sleep is priceless and it's precious. And I really want to know for sure that things are going to work properly. I have a lot of clients who we've walked through the trust administration process. I can tell you our trusts work. You want to work with an estate planning attorney who has that confidence and who can impart that to you and explain to you why their trusts work so that you can feel the same way and you can sleep well at night. If this information makes sense to you, I ask you to hit the like button so that more people can hear about this. Another issue that do-it-yourself forms may not talk about are retirement accounts and life insurance proceeds. Those two plans don't actually go into the trust. Instead, you keep them in your name, and then you update the beneficiary designation form to name who should be inheriting those things. And there's a lot of income tax issues when it comes to retirement accounts. I can't go through all of them right now, but suffice it to say, there's a ton of them. And there have been big changes to the law as of just a couple years ago to make it harder to leave pre-tax retirement accounts to your children in a tax-effective way. So you definitely want, if you have a large retirement account that you're leaving to your kids, you'll really want to talk with an estate planning attorney about that. So my final reason why I discourage do-it-yourself forms is because estate planning varies from state to state. A lot of these forms are created in a different state. And then maybe they call a California attorney and say, hey, can you tweak this form a little bit to make it into a California form? You don't know if that form is really going to work under California law or not. If for a married couple, you need to deal with community property and separate property, and perhaps quasi-community property, which might be separate property acquired in a different state that is brought over to California, it really depends. So it's so important to know that your trust document is drafted using the proper California trust terms and follows the probate code. So now you're more aware of the hidden dangers of do-it-yourself trusts and wills. You may have additional questions about estate planning in general. I've prepared a full-length webinar that walks you through many of the issues that come up with estate planning. So I ask you to download that by clicking on the link below. Also, be sure to watch this video next, which talks about estate planning terms. What do all those terms mean? Where I explain the new language of estate planning in plain English.